the glasshouse pedal enclosure. And then I was take this piece here. This is some low budget stuff here, but styrene. I guess it's called styrene, but they have polycarbonate. It's called poly meaning many in Greek, I guess. But it's like scratch resistant, like what you would use for your eyeglasses. This is not as scratch resistant, but whilst it's strong enough for this, I'm not putting it under the switch. But the polycarbonate, I was gonna say bicarbonate. The polycarbonate, I guess, a little bit thicker than this also, and scratch resistant will be strong enough to go all the way and put under the switch and everything. But, that's how I do things. I draw out a rough idea. Someone copies it exactly, just exactly like the drawing onto the internet and then puts, 10 years ago, whatever. But I don't care. I don't do things for that reason. I do things because I want to. But, yeah, and I'd have to redo my wiring. My wiring is not that great. I wouldn't want to see all these sleeves and stuff. It's terrible looking. I'd want to do a very nice wiring job. I'd probably redo the wiring. That's just to protect the back of the card. But my soldering was very good. I was very proud of it. And the population on this board, whilst I didn't invent it, I assembled it, and it sounds good and it looks good, and that's the point of this pedal. And so that when somebody listens to it and says, hey, the distortion on these delays is sweet and the circuit is bright for an analog circuit. This is a good circuit. I'd like to see what's under the hood. And there it is. You can see what's under the hood. And I'd want to route this in neatly so it would, sit right in there. And that would be the goal or the ideal, right? Make nice round corners with the Forstner bit. I'd have to make these more perfectly round on sandpaper. This stuff is not the most conducive for it. Like I said, this is very, very scratchable and, not long durability probably, whilst it's clear, but it's good for prototypical purposes. And it could be a good template, I'll use it for a template, and I can do my other stuff with it as well. I don't know if the next circuit's going to be a little bigger though, but like I said, this pedal sounds good. You heard it if you saw the other videos. This pedal sounds great, so I kind of don't want to tamper with it. And then because of the way I did the Forstner holes, the flat bottomed holes, right, made the material very thin, right? So I ended up putting, I don't know if you can see it, I went a little dollar store epoxy happy in there. Yeah, you can see the epoxy. I poured epoxy all around it to stiffen it up, so it wasn't so thin-walled and soft there. But this would be strong enough, and it's an easy thickness. I could even go thicker and still be able to attach these. But Amazon has polycarbonate, scratch-resistant, UV-resistant polycarbonate, and you can pick your thickness, and you get a 2-foot sheet, whatever it is, 12 by 24, or whatever the sheet is, for $10. But I just don't have tools to cut stuff easily. When I make stuff and it looks square and everything, I had to cut this by hand with a little hand saw, and then, run over it with a planer and a file and run it over sandpaper. I don't have the tools to cut it straight, but it came out all right. Whilst it's not perfectly square, it came out good. It's cardboard pedal. But that's the idea here. Is this? See? Yes, this is without the knobs on it. Those are with the holes cut in it. It's basically the box, and the switch is there to show you where the switch would go. But something like that, and so that's about it. I'm just gonna put this up on a shelf for now. Yeah, sometimes I hang up or I display my sketches, or sometimes if I build something, I'll stick the sketch inside. I gave the guy that rotating speaker with the brushless motor. I hope I stuck the picture inside of it somewhere. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It's cool though when someone could see the original sketch for an idea, because it's cool to like draw the idea out and then make it happen. It's kind of cool. Well, that's the idea, because the electronics, whilst I didn't invent the electronics, I did do the soldering, but the electronics look, so it's not so much to show off my work, although this is the first thing I made, first effect I ever made. So I'm like, wow, I'm so proud of it, but it sounds good. And I would want to see what I'm looking at, say, there it is. There's that old Texas Instruments, 72 Texas Instruments chip. And there's, those particular capacitors. And this is, string of resistors. And this is why it sounds good, whatever it happens to be. It's just fun to see what's going on underneath, right? All right, so that's that. Cheers. I miss my children.